just a couple hours ago, we saw an early premiere for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, starring Seth Rogen, the other Seth, and Jackie Chan, and all of Seth Rogen's friends who needed a paycheck, like Paul Rudd. Connor, would you use the story of Mutant Mayhem?
Mutant Mayhem is a movie that stars the four turtles as after they're bumping with racism, mutant racism. Splinter puts them in the sewer and they're not allowed to go out except to steal food. But they learn that maybe they can become heroes if they beat up Rat Trap or whatever, Superfly, played by Ice Cube. And Jackie Chan tells them that's bad, but teaches them martial arts, and then they learn that the real reason to be heroes isn't to gain notoriety and have a lot of friends and be loved by the humans, but just because they need to be heroes. But then their goal is achieved anyways, and they become heroes and everybody loves them and they have a lot of friends. So mixed messaging on the actual message of the movie.
Yeah.
But they fight a guy named Superfly, played by Ice Cube, who has a gang of people, including Paul Rudd and John Cena, Seth Rogen himself, and others.
Other people who Seth Rogen was friends with who needed a paycheck, yeah.
And Jackie Chan comes to the surface, and they all fight a giant kaiju version of Superfly in the least ninja karate martial arts way possible. So Aiden, what did you think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem?
It's a bit all over the place. The first and most notable thing here is that we have another entry in the newly founded Spider-Verse knockoff camp, which Puss in Boots: The Last Wish apparently was, and people really like that.
People are seemingly really liking this.
And some people like this. It's got a lot of rips on Spider-Verse off the bat with the style and the choppiness, and a lot of the music is also very similar to Spider-Verse's.
The hip-hop soundtracks.
The hip-hop soundtrack is especially kind of egregious, but also even like the villain stings sound just like the Prowler villain stings, which like stuck out to me immediately.
A lot of the humans are based on the more grotesque villains in Spider-Verse.
Oh, they're grotesque.
Like Kingpin.
I can understand.
It's more comic booky. Like the backgrounds look really cool.
Yeah, the backgrounds are incredible, as well as like the lights and explosions, and sometimes like the lighting will have like these like scribbly kind of painted effects on top of them, and that looks really good. And then all of the character designs are some of the most horrendous I've ever seen in a movie. Every character in this movie just looks terrifying. And the mutant creatures look like weird and terrifying too, but it kind of fits them. But then you see the humans, and like April O'Neil's like this, she has a toddler physique.
Yeah.
She looks like a adult-sized 2-year-old with like pudgy tiny arms and legs and like the big waddling body, and she waddles around like a full-sized 2-year-old. She looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid. And then like most of the random humans have like, for some reason their stylist
my
is
super suit lady who looks like shit, who looks like Roger Ebert after he lost his job.
Yeah, she's got no jaw, and then there's like most of the characters, like most of the background and extra characters are like 3D Beavis and Butthead characters, where they're all like demented and off model and have their eyes like slightly misaligned, and like they all have like gigantic, oddly shaped heads and disgusting eyes. Everything in this movie looks fucking disgusting. Like stylistically, they swung for the fences with their Spider-Verse and knockoff style, and everything that's not the character designs looks really good. And the character designs are so horrendous that it genuinely drags it down. Every time I saw April waddling around like a giant toddler, I started giggling. Which is not something you want for your emotional origin story.
No.
And that applies to pretty much every character, and I don't know. And then, like, sometimes the movie, I don't know what they're going for. Sometimes they're just like...
That was intentional. This is,
Sometimes they're just, like, gross and weird on purpose. Like, this movie in general, like... The constant jokes about the milking machine, where the turtles get put in the milking machine and...
Get milked.
It's like those pornos where the guy gets put in the machine and then they put a giant thing on his wiener and it sucks all his cum out so that they can power a super laser or whatever the fuck is happening.
They power a super laser by jacking a dude off?
Yeah, the dominatrix comes out with the little whip and she puts on the giant
What the fuck type of porn do you watch?
male masturbator device.
The male masturbator.
And it starts sucking all his cum out of the wiener. That's what happens in this movie. The turtles get put in a giant jack-off machine by a jawless dominatrix. And then all the bad guys become good in like 5 seconds. Like the Paul Rudd lizard is like, actually I don't want to kill all human life. And then Ice Cube. I like Ice Cube in this movie. I think he's like the one performance that's actually good. Because I think it's funny.
Jackie Chan is hilariously bad in this movie because he barely knows English.
Yeah, Jackie Chan is doing his lines phonetically and he's really bad.
He's like, I love my sons.
Although I like the one Splinter fight scene we get is actually, it's definitely designed to be like Jackie Chan, where it's very improvisational. That's the one like action scene I liked a lot.
Well, when it's the training montage, you see 5 Deadly Venoms.
Oh, for sure.
You see Drunken Master. You
Yep.
see a lot of cool martial arts stuff. And as a martial arts nerd who spent too much money on Shaw Brothers box sets and has watched more Jackie Chan movies than any other actor, personally, I love that shit.
I like that the Splinter fight scene's super like improvisational, kind of wacky, fun Jackie Chan style. And that was definitely a standout action scene for me.
Splinter should have just got drunk and Drunken Master.
I think it's funny that this movie is PG-13 so that Ice Cube could swear some.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's the only thing that makes this movie
It felt like
PG-13.
It felt like every swear was improv. There were like 3
Absolutely.
or 4 swears,
No.
and everyone's like, "What the hell?" Like they never felt forced. It just
The only
felt
one
like,
I can think of that didn't... There's one point where, like, Superfly says, "I'll see you guys in hell." It seemed like a real line. But then, like, all the other ones were, like, Ice Cube would just drop shit in the middle of his line, and they're like, "We can't cut this. We gotta keep it." Which is fun. I like him.
I love Ice Cube, man.
The character designs are a big hurdle to get over. It's a little generic, and it's pretty Spider-Verse rip-offy in a lot of ways. Even, like, I would say Michelangelo's actor is basically just going for the full, like, Spider-Verse ape, trying to be tiny little Miles.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know if the movie ever really comes together. Like, they fight all the other mutants because the other mutants are bad, and then they say, maybe you shouldn't kill people. And the other mutants go, yeah. And they kill Ice Cube, and then the creepy little Cabbage Patch woman goes on the news and says the turtles are our friends, they're good guys. And everyone's like, yeah, they are. And I guess there's some elements that work, like Splinter being an overprotective father is at least a decent idea for his character, but I don't know. Nothing ever kind of feels like it fully came together for me. And it always kind of just sat on the edge of, like, it has interesting art, when it comes to everything but the character designs, but it's kind of just, it all just kind of feels like another limp origin story, I guess. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say for now. So, Connor, what'd you think of Mutant Mayhem?
It has everything I love in it. Jackie Chan, Ice Cube, martial arts stock footage from Shaw Brothers, and from Jackie Chan movies.
Kaijus.
It has kaijus. It has superhero antics. It's the Ninja Turtles. And it executes it all so fucking poorly that it made me really disappointed. I had high-ish expectations going in. I was feeling like a 3.5 based on the trailers and the art. I didn't like how the humans looked, but I liked how the mutants all looked good, and that's the focus of the movie and 90% of it. I will admit April was kind of ugly.
April is a central focus of this
I
plot.
felt like April I eventually kind of got past April, even though she looked like a weird toddler human, I agree. But kaijus and Ninja Turtles don't mix. Like, if you're going to do that plot, give us a couple good fight scenes before that. There were a couple decent fight scenes, like when they're fighting in that for April's moped at the start. When the fight scenes are done, it's great. And the animation's really good besides the general human character designs. Like the backgrounds, I would say, are more comic booky than Spider-Verse and look dope. Yep. And the turtles look dope themselves. In ways, it improves on Spider-Verse. But the character designs for the humans are often so ugly that it kind of pulls me out of the movie. Like, there's really strong character designs in Spider-Verse that aren't really here in terms of the human stuff. I think the production Bible had something wrong with it, where they're like, make them look like Beavis and Butthead characters, which doesn't work.
They don't really, it's not like the characters being ugly says anything about them either. Like, April being a giant toddler, like, when you see Kingpin in Spider-Verse, the fact that he's a bunch of squares and is like...
He's a weird, ugly man.
Well, yeah, but he's like...
on purpose, because he's an ugly dude. Like,
well, he's an ugly dude, but also, like...
He's internally ugly.
The square design that he has, like, he's made of squares unlike everyone else, and it's supposed to show, like, how rigid his thinking is, and, like, it says something about him, and everyone here is just ugly. They're just ugly.
They look like a 90s Nicktoon, but then we're also supposed to kind of care about them.
I mean...
I don't know.
April looks like Tommy Pickles.
I got bored a lot in this movie, which, when you factor in basically every fandom I'm in being represented in this, kaijus, superheroes, Ninja Turtles, they reference all sorts of shit, martial arts. Yeah, you would think I would like it, but they just put it to such a boring movie. And here's my other issue. It's made me cringe a lot. They talk about, like, BTS a ton, Drake. In my Letterboxd review, which you should really follow our Letterboxd, Connie420 and
Aiden
Hobson. In my Letterboxd review, I put that it felt like racism bad, TikTok memes and Ninja Turtles were put into Chat GTP and created the movie script, and I stand by that.
Yeah, this movie's gonna age like fucking milk because of all.
There's a lot of topical references, and it might work in a theatrical setting, but in 15 years when I'm marathoning the Ninja Turtles movies, because Lord knows that's something I'll do when I'm 40, I'm gonna say, what the hell is a BTS?
Yeah,
and I'll get angry and I'll start throwing stuff.
Constant references to TikTok dances that are
I
popular
don't even
right now.
remember 2023 because I'm a fucking alcoholic.
Like TikTok dances that are popular now, musicians that are popular now that probably won't stand the test of time, like BTS and
I don't
other
mind.
K-pop shit. And then like,
At least not in America. BTS will have their psychedelic era soon.
Donatello's obsessed with anime and keeps making references to like My Hero Academia
And Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan, which are shows that are not going to stand the test of time. My Hero Academia is a show that entirely appeals to 12 to 15-year-old girls to write gay fan fiction about.
And there's a
there's
real
like a ton
heart
of
to the
references
movie,
to it,
and
you
the
know.
heart. I want to tear that heart out. I want to tear the heart out of the fucking carcass of this movie.
This shit's gonna
Because
age
the
bad.
heart is cheap and it sucks.
Yeah, it is.
Overall, pretty mid. It has a lot going for it, and a lot falls short. It's like Spider-Verse in that it perfectly sets up to be a perfect movie, but where Spider-Verse sticks the landing, I think Ninja Turtles wipes out. So, Aiden, would you recommend Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem?
I'm gonna give it a no. I think it's probably best enjoyed in theaters right now because everything in this movie is gonna age like cottage cheese in the sun. But I don't know, man. It never really comes together. I think there's a lot of issues, and I struggle to get past those issues. It feels like yet another Spider-Verse clone, but instead of being... Spider-Verse has basically cemented itself as a timeless classic, and this is Spider-Verse's kind of wonky, stupid cousin, full of Zoomer TikTok memes that are gonna age real bad.
I agree.
So I gotta drop a no on this, unfortunately. Shout out to my man Bing Chillin and Jackie Chan, the Chinese Communist Party's strongest defenders, and we'll be watching another movie starring Bing Chilling and Jackie Chan in the coming
Bing
days.
Chilling is John Cena.
Yeah, Bing Chilling and Jackie Chan, the Chinese Communist Party's strongest warriors, are starring in 2 movies this week, which is crazy. Anyway, Connor, would you recommend Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem?
No. It's too packed of a summer for me to recommend it. If the summer was slower, I'd probably recommend it, but there's so much stuff.
What
So
if you
much
were a
stuff to
TikTok
watch.
Zoomer? Maybe TikTok Zoomers love this because it appeals
I'm sure they
to them.
will.
Because it talks about
I'm sure it'll be
My
fun
Hero
to watch
Academia.
during date night, or if you take your 10-year-old who's big into Fortnite and TikTok, they'll love this. But no, I wouldn't recommend it. I think it falls short. I also, maybe I would have passively recommended it, but it just has so much potential, and there's so much stuff that is targeted specifically for Connor Hobson that it's ridiculous, and yet it all falls short. I would love to see stock footage from 5 Deadly Venoms in anything but this movie.
Would you love to see stock footage from Ferris Bueller in anything but this movie?
That was a little bit of a cheap grab. So no, I haven't seen it yet. I'm currently pirating it on my computer because I don't have Netflix. The machine is cooking my Blu-ray up right now of the other Jackie Chan John Cena movie that came out this week.
Bing Chillin'.
Bing Chillin' and Jackie Chan movie. And it's coming. Tomorrow, I'm filming the Drunk Yoda Joe, Connor, and Aiden are going to be filming the Drunkview of the most generic action movie title ever, which I don't recall at this point. Directed by the Expendables 4 guy, just weeks before his next movie comes out, Expendables 4. Starring Jackie Chan and Bing Chillin'. And I'm very excited. My Blu-ray is very close to completed. And we'll catch you next time.